All right, welcome in. We're talking Jets training camp. Day one in the books today, and man, was it a doozy. Obviously, it's no pads or anything like that. There's no, I would say relatively limited contact. But, oh man, Garrett Wilson had himself a Moss-type catch over top of, I don't even know who it was, but it was an absolutely spectacular catch. I'll show that in a little bit. But boys and girls, I want to get your thoughts on today's training camp. I want to go through some of the tweets that I saw, some of the recap analysis from everything. Zach Rosenblatt, Nick Faria, those sorts of guys, giving us a little bit of insight into what happened over the course of today. So let's go over Justin Fields. First and foremost, showed flashes with a deep touchdown and passes to Garrett Wilson. The really highlight one where he's contorting his body and then he rips the ball behind his back after he catches it. It's sick. It's sick. You'll see the picture ticking across on the bottom over there. He had moments of indecision, missed timing, and risky hospital balls. Definitely not something you want to see. Obviously, you don't want to get anyone hurt. It raises the question, is it early growing pains in a new system or old habits repeating? Now, it's so early on in training camp. I don't want to drill down too hard on Justin Fields, see what this offense starts to look like in a few weeks' time. Obviously, when these guys kind of get it a little more under their belts. But, you want to see him hone in just a little bit more there. I mean, he's looking good with the camera on his head. The throw to Garrett was pretty sick. It was really in a spot that only he could catch it because the coverage was sticky. The coverage was real sticky. Rookie wide receivers stood out today. Arian Smith, the 4th-round pick out of Georgia. A lot of people, myself included, scratching their head when he made this pick. But the guy is an absolute blazer. Lightning fast, starting to draw comparisons to Deshaun Jackson, which is very, very cool to see. Deshaun Jackson was one of my favorite players, when he was on Philadelphia. Just lightning speed, another gear. And Arian Smith's real big knock is really just catching the ball. There was a lot of times in college where he wound up dropping the ball, but he's basically always open. So if he's in front of the jugs machine all the time, this cat is going to be someone to watch. And the Jets may have accidentally gotten a steal. A reach at the time, but could be a steal if he winds up working out and being a Deshaun Jackson-esque caliber player for us. Undrafted free agent Jamal Pritchett impressed with diving catches in 11-on-11 drills. So something to keep an eye on as we move throughout camp. Can he secure himself one of the back-end spots on this roster? Defensive fundamentals and front seven physicality. Jamien Sherwood and Quincy Williams flying to the ball. I absolutely love that. I'm curious to see what other linebackers can stand out over the course of this training camp and how these guys can maybe set themselves apart. Because God forbid Quincy goes down or Sherwood goes down, could leave us in a world of hurt. Now, obviously, I do think we're going to run 2 linebackers pretty consistently. Our secondary's pretty much been revamped. You've got Sauce, you've got Michael Carter returning, and then obviously you have Stevens, who you signed to a deal. Cisco, you signed to a deal. You got the kid from Alabama you drafted in the, 5th round that I think was it Malachi Moore? Is that right? Is that the right name? I think that's the right name off the top of my head. So excited to see how that sort of plays out. Edge rusher Will McDonald beefed up to a 250-pound mark, and he's retaining his speed. That evolution for him, if he can be an every down rush, edge rusher, where he's now able to put dudes in a blender with his spin move, but also able to defend against the run, that would be everything we need from Will McDonald. That would be absolutely incredible. Combine that with Jermaine Johnson coming back from injury and looking pretty decent in some of the highlight clips that we saw of his workouts. He doesn't seem to be hampered by that Achilles injury, so we'll keep an eye on that as we move forward. Garrett Wilson earning that 4-year, $130 million extension right now. Dude is special. Dude is absolutely special. That back shoulder catch was absolutely the tone setter for the day. We saw it all over social media. It's something that we've sort of become accustomed. Obviously, you had the pick, the catch last year against the Texans on Halloween with the wacky circus catch. Dude's a freak. Not without its mistakes. This training camp practice, some sloppy moments on the line of scrimmage and some communication breakdowns is what I'm hearing. I'm curious to see if this is center issues, if this is Obviously just learning a new system and whatnot, something to keep an eye on over the course of the next little bit here. Tittman last summer had a bunch of issues snapping the ball over the quarterback's head and whatnot. Hopefully he has that kind of under control and they can iron this out relatively quickly here. Malachi Corley had an overthrow and a drop. They're saying his roster spot could be a little shaky over on Jets X Factor. That's what they're calling Malachi Corley, which would absolutely burn me up. This was the guy we traded up for, and he seems like such a little mighty might, like that running back wide receiver hybrid that you should be able to find some type of role for him for. I'm really hoping Tanner Engstrand can figure out a way to utilize the talents that this kid has and minimize some of the headaches that, might be plaguing him from the last, season and a half or so. It would be really, really frustrating to burn that third-round pick. Overall tone of the camp, a controlled, padless opening session, common for the first day. Script, and Glenn's players looked engaged and energized. Penalties were minimal, which is a huge plus for me. I have been harping on penalties as the hidden yardage that absolutely kills a team. It puts you in bad downs and distances on offense, and it gets the other team another set of downs on the defensive side. So I am 100% behind this accountability, and Aaron Glenn kind of taking care of business, as it were. Boys and girls, if you're just tuning in, make sure you hit that like button. It goes a long way. I'm going to do this let's do a little 30-minute live stream here to kind of recap this. Keep this a little bit shorter. I'll go through some of your comment questions in the chat and just sort of talk about how our feelings are right now. And I'm going to try and do this for each one of our training camp days. If you have not done so already, bam! Talking Jets, group buy, $2.99, get you a ticket to the game for week 1, get you food and drink at Tailgate Joe's Tailgate, and it gets you on-field access after the game. To put this in perspective, the section that we're sitting in, the tickets are currently going for $285. And we're selling this for $2.99 with a tailgate. Nuts. Absolutely crazy. We only have a limited amount of tickets, so if you guys are interested in doing this, I recommend you jump on it soon because once the tickets are gone, they're gone, out of there. So we're pretty excited for it. Let's get into some of your comments, see what you guys have to say. I see Edward Ziff in here. What's up, dude? Good to see you. Dropping some JETS emojis in here. Thank you so much for being a member of the channel. As always, my friend. Matthias in here again. Hey, let's go Jets. Wimmy, dropping the Jets logos as well. If you guys want to help support the channel and you want to click that little blue button down below, a little join button, it goes a long way. You get some of these cool emojis. There's some fun ones in there. Actually, I should probably rework them and see what other emojis I can have. What do I have in here? I got the freeze bean in there. Bruh, bad take, ice cream, sauce. I got to come up with like a Garrett Wilson one. Have some other ones that we can play with, but thank you. What's up, Jacob? Good to see you in here. Daniel. Happy Wednesday. Hump day. Heard Garrett showed out. Yeah, man, that catch was sick. I have it queued up. Let me see if I can show it. Oh, hold on. I'll get it. I got to move it above this. Watch this catch. Freak. Sticky coverage and just over top. And then rips the ball behind his back. Garrett Wilson, you are an absolute stud. Pure Adrenaline, good to see you in here, says, what's up, Ryan? Glad I can finally catch a live stream. Dude, it's been a while. I took a little hiatus in the summer, and now that I'm back for the season, ready to start talking some ball. Going to start doing this a little bit more consistently. Because of the kids' sleep schedule, I may opt to do more of the live stream type content as opposed to my pre-recorded edited stuff, just because algorithmically wise, it's kind of tough to release a video so late at night. It doesn't really hit the algorithm good. But glad to have you in here, dude. Gina, hello all. If anyone has tickets for the practice, is this Aunt Gina? Is this Green Beans? Oh yeah, this is nice to see you in here. If anyone has tickets for the practice on 8/20 or tickets for the game on 8/22, let Green Bean know this is Aunt Gina. Let him know. Reach out to him. I'm pretty sure. Now, hold on, I got to go back through my texts. I think Green Bean is going to be going to training camp one of those days. I want to say it's 8/12, maybe. Is that right? The joint practice versus the Giants. I think I'm going to be going. I think myself and Dom are both in on that one. So Dom was able to get tickets today. I'm so bad at trying to catch these ticket drops right now. Been so preoccupied. So hopefully I get to go to that one. Aunt Jets, good evening. Hope all is doing well. Yes, of course. Honore. Ryan, what's good, brother? Any updates with first-team wide receivers? Were they used as a rotation besides Garrett Wilson? I'm not sure. I didn't catch any snap counts as far as the 11 on 11s go. We'll get a lot more info once you start seeing the fans allowed at practice, because then there's just so many opportunities to see the different things going on the field. I really like the open ones. But yeah, I'm not too sure. I've been big proponent of wide receiver 2 by committee and kind of base it on what you need at the time. If you're going to run it, maybe you have Lazard in. If you're going to pass it, maybe it's worth having Arian Smith or Josh Reynolds or someone like that in. Jay Nasty drops some JETS. Steelers suck. I love it. Wimmy. Really hope our offense resembles Detroit with Tanner running the offense. I think it's going to be a hybrid of Detroit and sort of what Jim Harbaugh has done. Because remember, he was under Harbaugh for 2 different years in San Diego and at Michigan. So I think he's going to pull on some of those. If you went back and looked at his San Diego tape, he was the play caller for, I think it was 7 years at San Diego, along with being, was he head coach? I think he was head coach, quarterback coach, offensive coordinator. He's got a really good resume. I feel like it's harder to learn how to call plays than it is to translate from college to pro. Obviously, with him being in the pros the last few years, hopefully that's geared him up for the correct play calling acumen. Jake still looking for his eggs. He won eggs. Not getting them. Sorry. Jake, actually an amazing deal. Talking about the group buy. $2.99 for to get on the field and come hang out with us. I think that's a pretty sweet deal. We try to have fun with it. We don't try to beat you over the head too bad. Jacob, surprise standouts at camp, either today or future predictions. I would like to see. So I think Arian Smith catching everything is a really, really big one for us. Now, obviously, when pads come on, that's going to be something we got to keep an eye on, because the movement is slightly restricted when you have shoulder pads on. And is he able to continually make the catches that he was maybe plagued with drop issues in college? I sure as hell hope he can. As far as other guys that I would like to see stand out, I think if you can show me some defensive line guys that are getting some penetration. I think Michael Clemens may have had a sack or caused a disruption with Fields. I'm not overly high on Clemens. I feel like he's probably going to be a camp cut because of his salary cap, but he sort of fills a role for a relatively cheap amount of money. So maybe they're trying to hopefully rebound him after this year. Curious to see how that sort of plays out. But yeah, other than that, I just want to see the rookies. The young guys really, really play well. Obviously, offensive linemen and whatnot. Jacob, good to see you in here. Long time, dude. Pat, hey, what's up? Do you think the Jets should go after Jadeveon Clowney for edge to help us? So we had this discussion on Talking Jets last night, whether it be Jadeveon Clowney or Zadarius Smith. Zadarius Smith was on Detroit last year. That's sort of why I kind of lean him. But a lot of it has to deal, for me, a lot of it has to do with the finances of it all. I'm not big on giving away assets for players that are not going to be here beyond this year. That mainly falls in line with a trade, when people are talking about, hey, let's trade for X player, Y player, whatever. I have a little bit more of a gripe with that. The free agents, not so much. But if it's going to be a relatively beefy contract and that money could otherwise be rolled over to help maybe retain Quincy or retain AVT or retain John Simpson or retain Breece Hall, there's a lot of guys that could be getting some money. And I don't know if I want to blow that any amount of money on a player that's going to be here for 1 year when it's kind of like a figure it out sort of year. Green Bean made a really good point to look more at our undrafted free agents from last year, some of the guys we've brought in this offseason on the interior part of the defensive line, or just on the defensive line in general, see if they could stop the run and give them an opportunity. Because really this year, I'm still sticking to my 6-win prediction. I don't think it's going to be a crazy great season. And if we have a, unexpected rise, friggin' great. I'm on board with it. I would like to see that. But I'm going to set my expectations pretty low. So my thought process is we might wind up with a very high pick, and we may want to utilize some of the money that we have and bringing in guys, not that they're going to risk us winning more games, because that's a silly way to think of that, but I think it's an okay year to go young across the board on a lot of these different positions and try to figure out if these guys could be pieces to the future. And having someone that's going to eat up snaps from someone that could be here long-term might be seen as a detriment. Chase, I'm really excited to see how the run game looks this year. Yeah, with Justin Fields under center, the ability to just take off and run is going to be so valuable. I've always said the mobile quarterback and the stress that puts on a defense is so critical. The edge rushers that have been crashing down, like our first game of the year, we're going against TJ Watt. Armand Membu, welcome to the NFL. But now with Justin Fields here, if you're running a lot of RPOs and you're trying to put some pressure on those edge rushers, they can't just come crashing down the way they, would have done on Aaron Rodgers or would have done on Zach Wilson. I mean, yeah, Zach could run, but Justin Fields will really make you pay for it. So I'm curious to see how it all plays out, and the running game is going to be a lot of fun. I'm a big running game guy. Wimmy, Ryan, just tired of ranking 31st or 32nd every year on offense. Yeah, look, I'll be honest, the passing statistics this year, I'm not expecting a very high mark on. I do think Justin Fields will have, some games. He might go over 200 yards a few times, but I'm looking at his lump sum of yards. So if he's going to give us 100 yards on the ground, but he's only going to give us 150 yards through the air, that's 250 yards. If we flip the script, I think we were at 37% rushing last year and 63% passing. I think that's what the breakdown was. I wouldn't even mind seeing that flipped, or at least like a 60 run, 40 pass type of scenario. I think we're going to get a lot of downs and distances that are going to be far more favorable, where you're in 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, and now you have the opportunity because you haven't had the false starts. You haven't had the delay games. You don't have those mental error penalties, and you're able to really take advantage of some of those short distances and really bully people up. I mean, Breece Hall coming out of the backfield, Braylon Allen, Isaiah Davis, Justin Fields, there's a lot of meat that you can throw at this at these defenses that are going to wear them down over the course of a game. So I'm optimistic we're not going to be bottom of the barrel anymore. Aaron asking, when will I be at practice this year? Dom said he has a ticket for me for the 12th, August 12th. I'm going to be away from Saturday to Saturday, so I'm not going to be able to go to any of the first 4 practices. The other one's going to be a little bit more up in the air as far as trying to figure out if I can go. But got a new job this year, actually last year and this year, so I haven't been able to go to as many training camp practices as I'd like to. Edward wants to see 𝐂𝐻𝐿 Clowney come in. Aaron asking, the ESPN ranking was dumb. Titans ahead of us. Shake my head. That makes no sense to me. I don't know how you go from one of the best rosters in the league and then you lose Aaron Rodgers. We didn't have Devontae Adams when they were thinking we were one of the best. I mean, I guess we had Hassan Reddick. Maybe that was factored in and into last year's preseason rankings. But I think this team doesn't look that different than it did a year ago. I think the offensive line is probably going to be stronger. I think the defense can only get better from where it was. Obviously you got JJ coming back from the injury. I don't know where I'd rank us. I still think we're going to end up with a top 10 pick this year, but I do think we are trending in the right direction. I think this is a team on the ascend. Jacob, by the way, Ryan, do you go to Crystal Springs a lot living in Vernon? My cousin and wife have a house there. Jacob, oddly enough, I would say I go there about 5 days a week. That's where I work. I've run into a few of the Jet fans that come through the resort. I actually sell golf outings for Crystal Springs. So if you know someone that either runs a charity or has a business, we consider a golf outing anything 16 players or more. So, reach out to me, jetstalk247@gmail.com. We'll get my, obviously, the email I check all the time. And then if you just want to, looking to do a golf outing or something, I'm more than happy to set you up, and helps my numbers look better for the higher ups at the resort. But I really like it. Crystal Springs is beautiful. 4 18-hole courses, 2 9-hole courses. I really want to do a Talkin' Jets golf outing. That's kind of my thing I've wanted to do, and I just keep having kids. I've had 2 kids, well, I guess not recently now, 2 years ago and 3 years ago. I've just been kind of like a little preoccupied and busy, as opposed to like trying to actually get this all ironed out. So I'm hoping, probably not going to happen this year, but maybe next year we'll get the football golf outing going. James! I think unless we see an injury, Glenn and Muji seem to have set the idea that they want the young guys to get some shine. Clowney equals less play for Watts, Barron, McGregor, and Clemens. Yes, James, I completely agree, and that's exactly what Bean was talking about last week. Late, what happened today? Kevin, lots of stuff. Garrett Wilson has a crazy catch. Arian Smith catching everything. Malachi Corley maybe potentially a shaky roster spot, according to Jets X Factor. And Will McDonald looks like a stud at 250 pounds. We will be the most run-heavy offense in the league by far. Yeah, I don't think it's even going to be close. I think it's really... I mean, I don't even know what other team... Baltimore would probably be up there with Derrick Henry and Lamar. Who am I missing? There's got to be other teams that are like sort of like this. Obviously, with Justin Fields, I feel like it's almost like a lock for that. Just make us watchable. I don't care how the math works out. I just don't want to hate myself and cry on Sundays. Dude, I want team entertain me. I've been talking about this for like a year now. Just give me entertainment. I can't tell you, like after the Broncos game last year, I hated watching Jets football. It sucked. It was so bad all the time. And then I had to now I got to go do a recap and talk about this. No joke, it hurt me. That was probably the most painful season. That hurt more than 2 seasons ago when Rodgers tore the Achilles. But I'm on team entertainment this year. Wimmy says the Jets can run the Wildcat. Just imagine Justin, Breece, Braylon, and Isaiah. That's crazy. Yes. And that's why I sort of want to see Corley involved too, because he was a running back in college at one point, wide receiver. This guy could absolutely provide some Wildcat-esque benefits as well. So just get me all these crazy ball handlers in the offense. Billy, that would cause the defense to stack the box and come on every play. Fields has to throw the ball 50% of the time. He has to become an NFL quarterback. If he doesn't, Tyrod is standing there. No, I agree. I see what you're talking about. But at the same time, if they're going to start pressing him in the box, I think that's when you take your shots. That's when you have Arian Smith blow the top off the defense. That's when you have Garrett Wilson knife through the, up the seam. I think there's going to be opportunities because of the speed that Justin Fields has as a runner and the amount of different directions. If you have 2 running backs on either side of Justin Fields, you have no idea which way the Jets are going to go, which way he could hand it off, if he's going to throw it. It just puts a lot of pressure on teams. Kev says, I feels like nostrils are completely open without Hackett. Yeah, it's like a cold air intake now instead of the wet blanket we had with Hackett. What's the first position we address in the 26th draft? I think it's going to be quarterback. Regardless of how Justin Fields does this year, this is kind of the quarterback class you would like to see us invest a pick in. Now, if Justin Fields absolutely crushes it and we decide we like Brady Cook behind him as a developmental guy or something, then I think edge rusher comes into the discussion. I think you could look, depending on what happens with the guards, maybe guard, sneaks in there. Wide receiver could be a potential option. But when I'm looking at the team overall, it's hard for me not to say quarterback. JJ, I'd like to believe he's going to bounce back and we don't have to spend an edge pick very high, but that could always be a selection too. But I'll say quarterback right now is where I think we're going to end up going. Jets have a top 3 youngest team in the NFL. I didn't know that, but that makes sense given all the old guys we moved off of. Jake, big ups to Crystal Springs, always a sponsor on the draft stream. Yeah, they always do right by us over here, and I mean, I can't say good enough things about them. I enjoy working there. I think they have the wine cellar is incredible. The hotels are sick. It's a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed being over there. You've been more productive than Aaron Rodgers ever was. Thank you, Kev. That's much appreciated. Corley may not be a Jet after training camp. That would burn me up. I don't want to see that happen. I think maybe there's a situation where he ends up in, I guess, either San Francisco or Atlanta, right? Following a former coaching staff. God, I hate seeing high picks just fall off. Jacob loves what he's seeing out of Muji and Glenn. I agree. So far, the contracts that we've seen out of Muji have been top notch. I think I'm curious to see how they handle the next run of contracts, because I think Garrett and Sauce were both relatively easy to get done. Like, you knew you were going to re-sign them. On the flip side, AVT, Brees, and John Simpson are like the next 3 that I'm interested in. JJ, I think, is definitely going to have to play out the remainder of this year, and then probably before next training camp is when you'll see his deal get done, assuming he balls out. If there's any risk to him, he'll play out his 5th-year option. Then they'll readdress it. Maybe they franchise tag him while they negotiate or something. But John Simpson and AVT and Quincy are probably our next 3, and Brees will be the next 4 that we're kind of keeping an eye on. We need to add more playmakers. We need to add more playmakers to beat Pitt. I'm not so sure we necessarily need to. I don't know what Rodgers is going to look like in Pittsburgh. I'm more concerned with their defense than I am their offense at this point in time. I think our defense should be able to cause Rodgers some problems, especially if we can get after him. He's going to be a statue in the pocket, and we kind of have some insight since he was here the last 2 years. So, man, I would love nothing more than JJ just throwing Rodgers to the ground while he lobs up a pass, throws a duck in the air, and then Sauce Gardner intercepts it for a touchdown. That's what I want. Cameron asking, how did Fields look? According to Jets X Factor, showed flashes with deep touchdown and flash passes to Garrett Wilson, had moments of indecision, missed timing, and risky hospital balls. Raises the question, early growing pains in a new system or old habits repeating? That was the synopsis on Justin Fields today. So we're going to have to keep an eye on how that plays out. Obviously, it's early on in training camp, so you don't want to read too much into it. But a little rusty. Corley needs to step up. Yep. Raven for life. Just to give you a heads up, Brandon Stevens is a horrible cornerback. He's going to piss y'all off this year. We hated him. He sucked. So I have heard that a lot from Ravens fans. One of the things I like doing when we sign a free agent is go to see what his former team said about him. Like, if you go see what Jet fans said about DJ Reed when he signed with the Lions, all the Jet fans really liked DJ Reed. We thought he was a really, good player with us. Maybe a little salty towards the end of last year because we think he kind of sort of mailed it in early, but it's understandable given our season last year. But Stevens, I thought that was a much higher contract than I felt comfortable with them giving. We did draft A.Z. Thomas out of Florida State in the 3rd round, and I do expect him to be pushing Stevens for the starting spot, if not early on in the season, by mid-season. Obviously, you can't get that money back that you spent on him, but I don't love Stevens from everything I've heard about Ravens from the Ravens fans. So I don't like this. Kev saying one of the most clear examples of when Salas showed he was a con man was when he started to talk about receipts. He talked about receipts, but then never held people accountable. I feel like there was just no repercussions. Once Rodgers got here, I think we signed on to the whole idea of, hey, it's Rodgers' show, just let him do his thing. I probably would have still signed up for it, regardless. Now, with everything being 2020 with hindsight, you can't, you wish you had gone a different route. Billy mentioning that our Pro Bowl defensive back head coach might get the most out of Stevens. That's the optimistic side. That's the glass half full side of things. I don't know if I buy it, but that's the hope. Do we have all our 2026 draft picks? We don't have all of them. Let me just pull it up real quick. I did have it. I had it somewhere. Where did I get that? I think it was on Tankathon. So the Jets have their first round pick, their second round pick. We traded our third round pick to Philadelphia, so we do not have a third this year. We have a fourth round pick. We have 2 fourth round picks. One of them is a comp pick. We traded 1 pick to Baltimore in the 5th round. So we do not have a 5th round pick. We have 4 6th round picks. We have our original 6th round pick. We got 1 from Denver, and then it looks like we got 1 from Buffalo and 1 from Baltimore as well. Picks 211 and 212. And then the Jets are going to have 2 7th round picks. So we got a pretty good number of picks overall. We're just missing that 3rd and 5th round picks. So if Breece becomes trade bait at some point, maybe the Jets are looking to get like a 3rd round pick for him. I would hope it's like a 2nd. It's kind of my hope and prayer there. But Jets are going to have enough picks if they want to make a move up to get a quarterback. They should be able to make that happen. James Corley just needs to prove he can fit and be consistent. Fit the plan the Jets have. As long as he can do that, it becomes a Pritchett-Gibson-Keene competition due to return specialty they share. I don't really want to see Gibson come back. I've seen enough from him. He dropped a lot of punts and a lot of kick-off returns, especially in training camp. It just made me feel uneasy, like in games too. So I don't love that. We need 2 Pro Bowlers at wide receiver. I don't think we need that right now. If we move off Fields after this year or draft a quarterback and you want to bring in a wide receiver next season or draft one higher, I'm on board with that. I don't know if Pro Bowl wide receiver is necessarily what we need. I would love it though. Don't see Corley going to where the former Jets coaches ended up. I guess they did not play him as much, but that was also like Hackett too. So it depends how they had, what their relationship was like. I don't know where else he would just go if he just tried to stick with like any team that was trying to sign him, or if there was like a preference. Chris B. Hey, Ryan, everyone hit the like button. Please like, support, subscribe to the Jets. To Jets Talk 24/7. Talking Jets, New York Jets YouTube channels. Ryan deserves phenomenal New York Jets content creator, personal fan, Jets person fan. Go Jets. Chris, I like you. Always throwing in the nice stuff. Billy, I mean, if Corley doesn't drop the ball at the goal line, that was an exciting play. I mean, he showed excellent speed there. He really did. It was an exciting play, and man, it got me burnt up. That's like one of my biggest pet peeves is dropping the ball at the goal line. Why on earth do you do that? Like, what is the allure to do people think that looks cool? Like, how many fail videos have we seen where people have done that? Like, if I ever had the opportunity to catch a touchdown, I am taking that ball and I am running it through the back of the end zone, let alone it's his first touchdown. So like, why not keep the ball? Like, why would you throw it on the ground? Ugh, makes no sense. Would just like to make the playoffs this year. Even if it's the final seed, it could happen. Hey, when we switch coaches, it does happen. It's been not a trend. Obviously, Gase and Bowles and Saleh, that did not happen. For a long time, though, we did have the blessing of, new head coach, playoffs that year. And then you miss, and then it was kind of like every other year sort of a thing. I'd like to get back to that. Fresh saying we need 2 second rounders. I'd like to see the 2 second rounders. Like if the plan is to not re-sign Breece or to not use the franchise tag on him, I very much want to try and get a second round pick. Like I want to know right now where their headspace is at. And I think if they feature Breece a lot, put it this way, I would feature Breece a whole lot at the beginning part of this season. And I'd just try to win as many games as I can. And if it doesn't work out and you start losing a lot of games, then you have shown what Breece can do, and hopefully he's performing well, and you can flip him for a pick. If the Jets, if the Jets season goes sideways and it goes bad, if he does well and the Jets are winning games, who cares? Ride it out, see what happens. The worst case scenario is the Jets cut him. Talking about the Malachi Corley. Niners sign him since they don't want to pay Juwan, and Corley is basically like Debo, and he goes off in the Shanahan system. Oh, man, that would burn me up too. Gibson needs to go. We have better wide receivers. Yeah, I agree. Blitz, BK, hope you're doing well. You guys talking in the chat. Always nice. My biggest pet peeve with Corley as a rookie being the only one held accountable all year for a mistake. Yeah, I never really gave that much thought. I don't know if he got another opportunity all season after that drop at the end zone. Maybe 1 or 2 more attempts. Didn't feel like a lot. But yeah, no one else was held to account. He was the one that had to fall on the sword. Man, it would be exciting if Mason Taylor turns out to be a killer tight end for us. Yeah. That's the hope. I mean, he's got the bloodlines to do it. Corley throwing the football before a touchdown was such an arrogant, selfish move. That's why him not apologizing after is a red flag to me. Yeah, I don't know. What did he say afterwards? That's not going to happen again? Or I don't know if he necessarily needs to say, I'm sorry, but I'd like to hear him say that was a boneheaded play. It's never going to happen again. I would think it will never happen again. That's a super embarrassing thing to do. Jacob thinks we'll get 600 yards and 5 touchdowns out of Mason Taylor. That's a good year. That's a good year. I think if you get 3,000 yards out of Justin Fields through the air, call Garrett Wilson like 1,400 yards of that, and then you allocate 1,600 yards across everyone else, I could see it. James says it feels like Rodgers didn't trust him to play on his on schedule and his idea of the offense. So even though he was active, he was never used that way. That suits his skill set, and they opted to use Isaiah Davis. I think that's true. I think some of the frustrations with Garrett, from my understanding, is Rodgers and Hackett were not. I shouldn't say Rodgers, but Hackett was not a big fan of Garrett Wilson. He saw the talent, but Garrett is more of like a freak athlete and will get open, and he can kind of create his own separation, where Rodgers is more about timing and scheduling and stuff like that. And I don't know. Apparently there was some contention there, is what I had heard. So hopefully, not having Rodgers will kind of open up a lot of these guys. I feel like the offensive side of the ball could be a lot better because of not having Hackett here. We saw that sort of open up once Keith Carter took over play calling responsibilities. Was it Keith Carter? Is that who it was? Keith Carter was the O-line coach. Did he do play calling? Or am I thinking of a different guy? Todd Downing. That's what it was. Todd Downing took over play calling responsibilities. That's when everything sort of opened up. So I have glass half full mentality there. Did he say something afterwards? I don't remember. I don't remember what Corley said. I really don't. Who's Elijah Moore or Corley? Oh, who's worse, Elijah Moore or Corley? I didn't like Elijah Moore because of what he did in college. He did the dog piss celebration at Ole Miss and pushed the game-tying extra point back 15 yards, and the kicker wound up missing it from the further distance. So he cost his team, I think that was a bowl game too, if I'm not mistaken. With Malachi Corley, he had the opportunity to leave Western Kentucky, to leave for a different team, get some NIL money, and he wanted to stay loyal to Western Kentucky, and he stayed there and did everything the right way. Like, I really like the mindset of Malachi Corley and what he could potentially be. So for me, I was never really a big Elijah Moore fan. I was excited for the talent, but I'm not a big fan of his. Billy says, I think Corley said something about making a mistake, but not needing to be told how to play football or something. Yeah, maybe not the best thing to say, but I would imagine he doesn't screw that up again. Curly, what's good, dude? Says just popping in to say hi. Got to go to bed. Have a great night. Curly, nice seeing you here. Keith Carter was a miserable guy that ruined our offensive line. Well, our offensive line was pretty shit before he got here. He just didn't help it out much. I was told myself, Todd Downing, and Keith Carter all sort of look pretty similar. And someone tagged me in a picture. Was it of Tanner Engstrand? I think it was Tanner Engstrand. Someone tagged me in a picture of. I was like, wow, I guess the beard. white guy with a beard maybe is a generic face kind of thing. I don't know. Chris, hopefully Mason Taylor can be a Sam Laporta-like Cole Kmet type of tight end for our New York Jets. Smooth route runner ability, possession, strength, making moves, and receiving and blocking option. Yeah, we need an all-around tight end. And I would love to see Ruckert kind of bounce back. Like, even if Ruckert has like a halfway decent season, it would be nice to see him come back as like tight end 2 or 3. Just him being a Jet fan, I feel like he's more likely to hang around if he at least shows, some signs of life. This is a big year for him too. But yeah, sky's the limit for Mason Taylor. Thoughts about Tanner Engstrand's offensive scheme featuring Joe Tippmann's athleticism. Yeah, I'm about it. Get your fast offensive lineman in space. Tippmann's a monster of a dude. He's a big guy for a center. Most centers are usually around, I think, 6'1", 6'2", and I'm pretty sure, is Tippmann 6'6"? Is that what his height is? I feel like that's the height that's kind of sticking out to me. Now I got to look it up. Joe Tippmann. Yeah, 6'6". A very big offensive lineman. There was some thought that Josh Myers may end up being the center at some point, and Tippmann kicks out to guard. I don't think that's going to happen, but there was a Pro Bowl incentive signed for Josh Myers, which does make it seem a little funky. Like, how many backup players get Pro Bowl incentives? I'd like to know that. James, big explosive plays are rarely on schedule because they just take a ton of trust. Rodgers did do that, but on quick drops, not on longer developing plays. Yeah, you would kind of know, like, Devontae Adams gives a nod or Rodgers gives a nod. You kind of had an idea of, like, hey, we both saw the same thing, and then you get the ball out pretty quick. That was nice. The decision-making and fast throws was something that was a treat to watch from Rodgers. But having the ability to move around the pocket, create some downfield throws would be something I'd like to see a little bit more of. I think some of us Jet fans, myself included, are going to took for granted what we got from Rodgers last year, even though I think some of his stats were inflated because of like how bad we were. Some of it was a little bit of smoke and mirrors. Jay, plethora of pass interference penalties in favor of Jets coming this year. In favor of the Jets coming this year, throwing 50-50 balls to Garrett. That'd be nice. I'd love to see us get the benefit of the doubt. I think Mims, Corley, Elijah Moore were all second-round picks, hoping we don't pick another wide receiver in the second. Corley was a third-round pick. Man, I was really excited for Mims. Of all those receivers, Mims was the one I was most excited for, and that just did not work out at all. Billy just wants to see solid football. No distractions, no personalities to deal with, just heads down solid football. Yep. From the sounds of it from camp, that does seem like what we're kind of getting. Corley said sorry, and he accepted that it was his fault, better than just about everyone else on the team. Problem is, he was the only one on the team who took accountability. 'Tis why they hate him. Did he take account? I mean, maybe he took accountability. Maybe he said sorry or something, but like it felt like the coaching staff held him to account more than any other player on this team. Very funky. JD Grant, just enjoying how not crazy things have been leading into camp. No contract drama, no hard knocks, just getting to work. Yeah, yep. I'm all about the nice, quiet training camp and quiet off season. Marquise, can we please sign Keenan Allen? I think we need more veteran leadership in the wide receiver room. I don't think Keenan Allen's going to sign anywhere outside of LA at this point. I think he's going to go to the Chargers, or I shouldn't say LA. Well, yeah, no, I guess it is LA. It's not San Diego. I think the Chargers are his only place that he would go, or at least West Coast. I don't think he's going to come out this way. And I don't really want to pay a number 2 wide receiver a whole heck of a lot of money anyway. What do you think of the second round picks holding out for more guaranteed years? I'm fine with it. I don't care. I'm definitely on the side of the players. I think these teams make enough money as is. And if they wanted to guarantee every single contract across the board for draft picks, would not bother me in the slightest at all. I don't think any of the players necessarily demanded the holdout. I think a lot of this was like from a agent standpoint, because if agents get this guy a fully guaranteed deal, now every second round pick from here on out, maybe they represent multiple guys in the second round, that's just more beneficial for them. And I think once you started to see Alfred Collins sign his deal, that was kind of the domino that fell, and then everyone else kind of fell into place after that. We had a lot of distractions last year. The Reddick thing, the Adams, then Adams came in mid-season. Rodgers distraction, the O-line playing bad half the year. Just don't want to see it. Yeah, give me quiet 1 o'clock games all year. That's what I want to see. Jets commute. Hey, what's good, dude? Ryan, crazy how different Glenn is compared to Sally. Yeah, it's night and day different. I got to come on the commute at some point. I've been busy working, and I just have not been on the Twitter sphere to see everything. If you guys haven't headed over to Jets Commute, head over there. He does a really good Twitter space I think it's every Monday through Friday, right? Pretty sure that's how it works. I'm bad at Twitter, so I tune in, but I don't know what I'm doing half the time. JD Grant, I don't know what you're saying yep to, but that's cool. 333C, what's going on, dude? Good to see you in here. And Jets Commute saying yes, Monday through Friday. I think it's, correct me if I'm wrong, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m.? That sounds right to me. Maybe it's 7 to 10, 8 to 10? I don't know. What do you think what do you think of the number 2 safety right now? Do we have any sort of depth chart yet? I really like the kid from Alabama. I want to see more of him. Yeah, 8 to 10 for the Twitter space for Jets Commute. With us getting Kirk, who do you think will start? Kirk. What am I missing here? Which Kirk are we talking about? How long before Tua has another concussion and Zach is the quarterback down in Miami? When do we play them? Because that's the week it's going to happen. We're all about storylines. Cousins, didn't we get Kirk Cousins? We did not get Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins was my first video. That was the one when I thought we should have gotten him. If we'd gotten Kirk Cousins, we probably would have had Quentin Nelson on the interior offensive line, because we wind up not making the trade up with the Colts. And it's probably Buffalo that leapfrogs us to get up to the Colts pick. And then we would have 3 second-round picks after that also. But Kirk never wanted to play with us, so never really had the opportunity. But that was my first video on this channel. Boys and girls, before I start wrapping things up, I just do want to say thank you to Atlas, sponsor of the show. Bam! Check out this razor. Pretty nice razor. Check out that green. Wing. I'm going to do like an infomercial. Nice and slow. Pretend that's on like a really smooth, smooth spinny thing. Boys and girls. All right. Be real for a sec. You've been using the same razor since what? High school, college? You've moved on. It's time for your razor to do the same. That's where the House of Atlas comes in. House of Atlas is the newest shaving brand on the block from the creators of Athena Club, a leading women's razor brand my wife swears by. So yeah, they know what they're doing. It's hands down the best looking razor I've ever owned. Sleek, weighted, premium. But more importantly, the shave is next level. 5 precision engineered blades and high performance serum strip that glides smoother than anything I've used before. First off, the razor looks sick. This is like, they don't call it Jets Green, but I call it Jets Green. It's absolutely nice. Truly the best looking razor that I've ever seen. Blades are stabilized and don't bend under pressure, reinforced with welded steel. For a smooth shave with no irritation, the blade head has 5 US-made stainless steel blades that glide right through facial hair. And the coolest part is the precision trim edge that is revealed by flipping back the serum strip. Where is it? right there. Wham! Check that out. Straight edges and detailing allows you to get right under your nose and create straight sideburns. I've also been loving their shaving cream. Thick formula that shows me where I'm shaving and leaves my skin baby bottom soft. Their aftershave is awesome too. It doesn't burn like old school aftershave, but it does have a nice cooling sensation and it smells really nice. The premium razor kit includes a magnetic storage hook that you can attach to your bathroom mirror or medicine cabinet for easy storage. And now for a limited time, they're offering 20% off site-wide plus free shipping at houseofatlas.com. Just use code JETSTALK at checkout. That's HOUSEOFATLAS.com with promo code JETSTALK for 20% off everything. And House of Atlas is now available at Target stores nationwide. So getting your grooming game on point has never been easier. Stop wasting money and time on shaving products that just don't look good, aren't effective, and cost way too much. Visit houseofatlas.com today. Trust me, you'll love it as much as I did. Thank you so much for sponsoring the show. Kev asking, what's your season win-loss prediction? He's saying 9-7. I've been saying 6-11. I think 5.5 wins is probably a pretty spot-on over-under for Vegas to put us at. And until I see us start winning games, I'm playing the pessimistic card this year. I'm not getting my hopes over on this. Hopefully JBC, LT3, Watts, and McGregor stand out this season. I want to see them stand out in preseason so that way we can have some expectation and maybe see some more playing time in season. It'd be nice to get some of the young guns going. 17 days, we got our first preseason game. Jets Packers want to see Fields and this offense for a full quarter. Yeah, I want to see Fields and this whole team outside of maybe Sauce and Garrett. Like they could do like a drive and I'd be fine with it. Once other teams start pulling their starters or at the very least pulling their second string guys, then I want our guys off the field. I don't want anyone getting hurt. But yeah, I'm looking forward to them to like actually be playing some ball. Jay, hopefully Jets O-line will play more than 2 series in preseason. Need this O-line to gel if they're going to have any success, especially with the amount of running they're going to be doing. There's a little bit more like nuance, I feel like, when you have guards pulling and guys that have to be in the right spot consistently. So yeah, I do hope the offensive line plays a lot. I hope the starting offense plays a lot. I would say at least a quarter each of the first 2 games. I could see a situation where Green Bay doesn't play some of their starters, if not all their starters in the first game. I think the Giant game you'll see a lot of starters. That'll be really like the true test for a lot of these guys. I think that's when you'll see the most amount of starters play. And then that week 3 preseason game is probably a little bit more of a toss-up. You might see Fields play like a series. I don't think it'll be handled the same way that we handled Rodgers. JD Grant. Football's back. Yeah, it was a long off season. The Wedge, $10 super chat. Woo! Thank you, dude. I got it. Jets. Much appreciated, my friend. Thank you for that. If you have a comment, throw it in there. I'll throw it up on screen. I think it's not feasible to extend Breece. Everyone can't get paid. I'd trade him the moment he ups his value. Since I'm in camp, like I would like a quarterback in 2026, I do think Breece, who is probably my favorite running back that we've had in quite some time, I would probably move him as well. If they don't plan on at least franchise tagging him, like I would like to see that. That's honestly what I want to see happen. I want to see the Jets franchise tag him and then, use him for an additional season. But if he ups his value enough and can get us like a 2nd round pick or something, I think they'll let him go for like a 3rd too. Like if it's either a 3rd round pick, hoping to get a 2nd round pick. But yeah, I would feature him a lot. Run him into the ground at the beginning part of the season. Get him involved in the passing game and see what you can do. Because maybe there's a situation where, we start winning games and now you don't want to get rid of him and you're like, okay, we are going to re-sign him. Makes sense. Or at least we're going to franchise tag him. But then if the wheels come off and we start losing games, at least you're featuring him enough to show other teams what he's capable of, and then maybe you can up his trade value there. Jake says, I'm betting the over. I think we're better than 5.5 wins. If Glenn can't get us there, we're in trouble again. Yeah, I mean, we do have a pretty tough schedule this year, but I think 5.5 wins should be attainable. When we were going through the schedule, I think I had us at 7 wins, and that was because the Bills rested starters the final week of the season when we played them. I think that was the rationale I had. So I would say an honest 6. Some of you guys might know that. Honest 6, but you're telling your girl 7. JD Grant says, I feel like Glenn isn't going to rest the guys as much this preseason as Saleh did. Yeah, I completely agree. I think that's actually what we're going to see. We're going to see more starters playing longer into games. Chris, Aaron Smith continues to show the kind of athleticism, speed, and route running ability that made him leading wide receiver in Georgia in 2024. I feel Deshaun Jackson, Jameson Williams, Marquise Goodwin are comparisons. Yes, I agree. Deshaun Jackson's my favorite one of those comparisons in there because I've just been a big fan of his. Jameson Williams, I loved coming out of Alabama. Was a big fan. And then he tore the ACL and, obviously they drafted him in Detroit. So it could be, something they decide to continue the formula, if you will, for this Jets team. Since the NFL is a copycat league, I'm betting teams will overpay for deep threat running backs like Breece. Deep threat. I wouldn't have considered it deep threat, but Breece is the type of running back that could get, if he balls out and stays healthy, if you wanted to sign him to a $15 to $20 million a year deal or something like that, I don't know. I don't remember what Barkley got, but something in that wheelhouse. If he has a season like Barkley, I don't think he should make what Barkley's making, but he has the skill set to really be a pain in the ass for a lot of teams. That's why I don't really want to see him go. I don't think you get rid of playmakers. There's a reason why the Jets drafted Breece and then also tried to get Jahmyr Gibbs the following year. I think you want as many home run threats as possible. When you have guys on the field that aren't a threat to take it the distance, it just changes the dynamic of your offense. And Breece is just such a lethal weapon. I feel like having him on his 4th year now and then also franchise tagging him for what's going to equate to peanuts, at least for 1 year, maybe consider it a 2nd year. But I think the Jets will try to get the draft pick back for him because I think they like Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis. But remember, all these guys were brought in under Saleh and Joe Douglas. So we're going to get a year of Aaron Glenn and Muji, and maybe they're, it changes their tune at some point. Discipline and 3 more field goals gets us 7 to 8 wins. Yeah, not having a good kicker will hurt you every time, and the penalties were absolutely brutal. Don't wedge. Okay, go Jets. Hey, 9-7? Maybe, it's possible. We maybe just eke by on oink of the pigskin. Eke into the playoffs. Did I just say that? Go Jets. That was impressive, DeWedge. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat too, by the way. Greatly appreciated. Billy, want to see if this D-line is going to get the job done for us. We didn't really address it as well as we would have liked. I think a lot of us wanted to see D-tackle a little bit earlier in the draft and, is the 2nd, 3rd round, something like that. We do have a few guys in-house that, might be able to plug in. And we did bring in, who's the other D lineman we brought in? Green Bean really likes him. I'm drawing a blank on him right now. I think we had him. Did we have him at the end of last year? Could be wrong. Kevin, thanks, Ryan, for going live. Them Yankees have me ready to find the nearest bridge. Dude, of course. I'm going to wrap this up. We're hitting right at that hour mark. I said I was going to do a half hour, and then I get too excited and I have fun with this. I wound up going longer than I should. Kev, with AG as head coach, I hope Wayne Grabett can be a regular in the Jets sidelines as wide receiver consultant. I love Wayne. Anytime you get Wayne involved, I love it. I don't know where his head's at, mentally after getting smacked around so much. I got to do a little private Zoom session with him, Robbie Sabo, and a few other Jets guys. And, he seems sharp as a tack still. So I don't know. I think, did he still own a restaurant? I feel like he owned a restaurant at some point. Wayne Grabbett's probably my favorite Jet of all time. Got some hitters on the D line for pass rush, but need to get some better run stuffers. We do. We got to stop the run. Get teams in those run-heavy situations. But boys and girls, we're hitting that hour mark. I just want to say thank you for tuning in, and I'll be back here tomorrow, and we'll recap a little bit more of training camp day 2. JETS!